I'm not sure. Stephanie, I don't know if you know my partner.
Hey,
great.
Hi. Stearns, nice to
Yeah,
meet you.
see you guys.
How's it going?
Good.
Milling around. Well, have a seat. What this is, I didn't want to bring this up in your squadron. Oh, no, it's fine. I think we're good.
I just have a quarter to, let me just turn it off. You're going to bring somebody in, right?
Yeah, well, I can explain the whole thing
That's
too.
fine.
I didn't want to talk about this in the squadron because
that's okay.
I don't know who people are listening.
That's true.
And if we go to my side, everybody's always wondering what everybody else is
sure,
doing.
no problem.
Okay. But like we're talking about being busy and stuff, we've been assigned a case that we've been looking at.
Okay.
It's a new case, and reviewing the case, there's some notes to see as far as your name being mentioned.
Okay.
Do you know John Rutten?
John Rutten. John Rutten?
Rutten.
Oh, yeah, I went to school with him.
You did?
Yeah.
How long did you know him?
Gosh, I went to school in, let's see, went to UCLA in 1978 I started, and, you know, met him at school at the dorms.
Were you guys friends, close friends?
Yeah, we're very close friends. I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's regarding, it's a case we're working on, and it involves John, and in there, some of the statements we reviewed, you know, there's notes and stuff that he knew you and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were good friends. Lived in the dorms I lived in the dorms for 2 years.
You guys lived in the same dorm?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Dykstra.
Okay. Were you guys just friends or anything else, or?
Yeah, we were good friends.
Yeah. Was there ever any relationship or anything that developed between you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we dated. You know, I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's relating to his wife.
Okay.
Okay. Did you know her?
Not really. I mean, I knew that he got married years ago.
Did you ever meet her?
God, I don't know.
Do you know who she was or anything?
Well, let me think. God, it's been a long time ago. I may have met her. Geez. You know.
Yeah. Well, let me see. Let me ask you. You said you dated John. How long did you guys date?
I mean, are you guys? Is this something? I mean, you said I was going to interview somebody about art, and how you guys are.
Here's
I mean,
Stephanie, here's the situation. It's basically, we knew that this, when we saw this in this chrono, that maybe, you know, there was some relationship there. That's what the chrono seemed to indicate, and we didn't want to come up to you at your desk and ask those kinds of questions or do anything. You know how up there people can see what's going on if you go into an interview room, or people are in there getting supplies.
Okay. I mean,
so we wanted to afford you some privacy, some confidentiality to talk about this, because we thought it might be, you know, something, you know, you're married to someone else, obviously, and so forth, and that you may not want to, you know, talk about these things in that setting where someone, you know, we don't want the rumor mill or gossip or any of that kind of stuff to start.
That's fine. I mean,
so we did this just as a means to try and speak to you in just a confidential place where you know, where your business isn't out there for other people in you know, your division to know about.
You know, God, that's been a million years ago. I mean, you know, what year is it now? 2009? I mean, I graduated in 82. 82, yeah. You know, we dated. I dated other guys. I'm sure he dated other girls.
Well, let me ask you, roughly how long would you say you guys dated?
Oh, jeez. I couldn't even say. I mean, I started school there in 78. I started UCLA in 1978. I graduated in 82. I don't even remember what year he graduated, if it was a year or two before me.
Okay.
I think he was a little bit older than I was. I mean, you know, I can't remember if he was born, let's say I'm born in 1960. I don't know if he was born in 58 or 59. I mean, you know, I mean, I knew his parents, I knew his sister, his brother went to Northridge. You know, his sister spent the night at my house before. Obviously, I spent the night at his house before. He probably spent the night at my house before. You know, yeah, I don't.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, because from what you're telling me, is you guys dated while you were in college together, right?
Yeah, and probably after college. I can't. Geez, I'm trying to think when I met my husband. I met my husband in. When did I meet Scott? Let's see. teaching DARE, because I met Scott when I was teaching DARE up in Oregon, but we had long stopped, dating before that.
So you haven't talked to him for a long time?
Oh, I think I haven't talked to him in a long time. I couldn't even tell you when the last time I talked to him. I met Scott, I'm thinking in 92 maybe, April of 92. It was
Scott being your husband.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was teaching DARE. Let's see, what year is this? We'll be married. I got married in 1996. I think I met Scott in 92. Prior to that, I couldn't tell you how long I had talked to John prior to that.
But since you met your husband, Scott, you hadn't talked to him?
I mean, he may have called me once or twice before we got married.
Right.
Geez, I moved to Simi in 1994 because I lost my house in the earthquake.
Oh, really?
Quite honestly, I probably keep in contact with a few people from the dorms. We all lived on the 10th floor, and there's about 3 or 4 people I keep in contact with. There's probably like 6 or 8 of us that were all really close.
Mm-hmm. And who are those people?
Oh, geez, Diana Basta. People I still keep. I haven't been in contact with her in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's this all about? I mean.
Well, let me ask you, what ended the relationship between you and John?
It was kind of a weird relationship. I mean, we dated. I can't say that he was my boyfriend. I don't know that he would consider me his girlfriend. We dated. We did things. I played sports in college. He played basketball. His brother played basketball. It just didn't work out. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It was like I went out with other guys, saw other guys. I went on lots of vacations.
And once you guys split, were you guys still friends, or kind of, problems? Is it friendly, not friendly?
No, I don't think it was not friendly. I mean, we were friendly. I know that we went to Hawaii at one point. Another friend of mine who's actually dying right now went to Hawaii with us at some point.
Remember roughly when that was?
Oh, geez. Let me think. I'd have to check my pictures. Or I'd say I'd ask Greg, but my friend Greg is like dying of liver cancer right now. Yeah, I mean,
And you were saying that
it's 2009 now.
Had you ever met his wife?
I may have.
Do you remember her name or anything, or? Or what she did for a living, or where she worked, or anything about her?
Well, I think I'm going to say that I think she was a nurse. Man, I can't even remember how he said he met her. I mean, it's been so long ago.
Well, let me ask you, did you go to their wedding,
No, I didn't go to their wedding. No, did not go to their wedding. I couldn't even tell you what year he got married. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been a million years ago.
You ever remember if you ever talked to her? Because it seems like a lot of you who were at the school at UCLA, you guys kind of were friends during and after school, so I don't know if you guys still associated afterwards once he was married or anything.
With him?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I would say, the people that were on the dorm floor, we did get-togethers. There's probably like 4 or 5. I don't think he ever came. I don't think. No, it was mostly girls. A girl named Smita, Diane. There's 2 Dianes. But the one Diane, I don't think she ever came. I kind of lost contact with her. We were good friends on the floor. Yeah, I mean, I don't, again, I mean, what, I don't understand why you're talking about some guy I dated a million years ago.
Well, do you know what happened to his wife?
Yeah, I know she got killed.
What did you hear about that?
I saw a poster at work. I'm sure I spoke to him about it. I think I spoke to another friend of his about it.
And how did you first learn about that?
Jeez. Someone could have called me. I could have heard it at work. I think at one point there may have been a flyer or something. I know a good friend of his...
Were you on the job back then when that happened?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm sure I was on the job. That's why I would have heard about it with the flyer. He had a good friend, Mike Boldrick, anyways, he may have lived in the dorms. I don't remember if that's how I met him. I may have talked to him. I mean, you know, I don't remember how I heard. I mean, I don't even remember what year it was.
And you think you said you thought his wife was a nurse. Do you have any idea where she was working at the time, or did he ever mention that to you? Was it a hospital or a doctor's office?
I'm sure he must have mentioned it. Now that you're bringing that up, I think she worked at a hospital somewhere. And yeah, I may have met her at a hospital. I may have talked to her once or twice.
At a hospital?
Or more. You know.
But being that you were kind of used to see John, you know, was everything okay between you guys? I mean, there was never anything uncomfortable or anything between you and her?
You know, I don't know. I mean, it's been so many years. I mean, uncomfortable. I mean, I can't even remember if we had a conversation. I mean, we may have. I may have seen her at his apartment. You know, geez, how many years ago is that? I don't even know what year she, you know, got killed.
Where was his apartment?
On Roscoe.
Okay.
Yeah, Roscoe and east or west of DeSoto. Either east or west of DeSoto.
Do you know where he moved after? Did he move after he got married, or do you know, or?
I'm sure he did.
Did you know where he was living, or?
Somewhere in the valley.
Did you ever visit him and his wife?
No.
No, never went out to, you know, get together, dinners, anything of that nature?
No. Like I said, his sister used to come over. His sister had come to my place. I knew his brother because his brother played basketball at Northridge. In fact, I was just coming across some pictures that I had just scanned from. I take a lot of photos, like 10,000, and I just did a service where I scanned everything. And I'd seen some pictures of his brother playing basketball.
Well, you just put them all on your computer so you could have them accessible and do things with them?
Well, my partner is a big photo thing, and he had a deal to scan. So I spent a ton of time just scanning photos. I mean, I paid a company to do it. So I've got photos of, his brother, his sister, you know.
10,000 pictures?
Oh, yeah.
How long did that take them?
Months.
Now, what do they put that on a? I'm just curious myself. Do they put it on a? They get that all on one DVD? They don't need like a hard drive or anything?
No. There's like, I think 11 DVDs. Yeah, I don't even have time.
Oh, it's a series of DVDs that they put them on?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm
not that familiar with computer stuff, so that's why I was asking.
It's like 11 DVDs.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, I haven't had a chance to go through them. You could go through and pick which ones you don't want. I don't have time to do that.
Right.
You know, so like you said, did I, you know, I don't think we ever socialized. You know, he'd still call me. I can't say that I would. I mean, if he's married, I don't know that I would have called him. I mean, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. It's been a million years ago.
Well, how long was John married before his wife died?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
And after his wife died, did you talk to him again or anything? Yeah,
I did talk to him. I talked to him, probably his parents, probably some other friends. You know, I'm sure I talked to him.
Yeah.
But you're not sure where he moved to after he got married?
No idea.
Never went over to visit him or
I don't think.
meet his wife,
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think I did. I know he lived on Roscoe for a long, long time. I may know. He may have told me where they lived. Somewhere in the valley. He may have said I lived over such and such, but I couldn't tell you specifically where.
But you don't remember specifically ever going over to visit him or visit them at wherever he moved when he left Roscoe?
I honestly, I don't know. I don't think so, but
Okay.
you know, I don't want to say no, I don't think so, and then he says, oh yeah, she came over for something, dropped something off. You know, I don't know.
So if you did go over there, just be like a quick thing, like you're saying, drop something off, or
maybe.
But you don't remember as far as like going there to have dinner or like a social, anything at the house, party?
Well, if you guys know something, I can't, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, but...
After John's wife died, you said you may have been talking to him. Did your relationship start up again? I
would say no. Again, can you give me a year? I mean, this is like 2009.
She died in 1986?
Yeah, I think it was 86.
1986.
Okay. Like I said, I'm faintly remembering that I went to Hawaii with my friend Greg. Greg and I got certified for scuba diving. And I'm thinking that John met us there, meaning Greg and I. That could have been, I got certified toward the end of 88, or I mean, 88, 89, because I got recertified again, and it had been like over 10 years, so I got recertified. My husband and I got recertified. And I'm pretty sure that John met us there. Again, I'd have to tell you what year it was. I'd have to look at my pictures. You know, and other than that, I can't even say. He may have called me, you know, at my home. I may have called him. I don't think he got together with our group.
You don't think after his wife's death?
Or even before, I don't. You know, we went to weddings together. You know,
did you?
I got pictures. Like I said, I couldn't tell you years. It's been a million years ago. After
he got married or whatever, were you dating anybody in particular?
And that was what year? 1986, you said?
I think he got married in around 85, 86, something like that. Were you seeing anyone seriously, or?
God, I couldn't say. Geez, I'm trying to think. I mean, you know, I dated a fireman.
What was his name?
Mike Arndt. And I'm trying to think.
Was he LAFD or?
He was LAFD.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think when I went. I probably met Mike. I went to Devonshire. Let's see. I left Hollywood in 80. I worked Hollywood 84 to 85, I think, and then I went to Devonshire, and that's when I met Mike. And some other firemen. And
what, the station next door?
No, actually.
Because I used to work Hollywood, so I was just wondering if it was the station next door.
No. It was when I worked Devonshire, I met Mike.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'm trying to think. I went to Devonshire in 85, and I'm thinking that I would have met him probably sometime shortly after I went to Devonshire, because I met him and I actually met his buddies at a fire. And then Mike and I dated, you know, just really kind of casually. And we remained we remained good friends.
You still in touch with him, or?
Unfortunately, he passed away.
Oh, really?
He died in he had a car crash. He did race cars, and he went heading into a wall. I couldn't tell you what year that was. But he passed away. He was in a coma, and they pulled the plug.
Right.
Seems like anyway. So, you know, I couldn't even tell you what year. I'm thinking I went to Devonshire in 85, and I know I met the guys because it was kind of a funny incident of how I met them, and that's how I remember. It was sometime probably 85.
Right.
You know, if you specifically, I don't even know if they remember. The other two are now married to somebody else, because I kind of. All three. I mean,
did you kind of socialize, like when you were out with Mike? Did those guys come out with you too? Was it kind of like, did you do stuff with his friends, or?
Well, there were three. There was two firemen, Eric and Gary. I met them first. Then they introduced me to Mike. So that's how I met Mike, and Mike and I dated.
Mm-hmm.
So, and not, I wouldn't even say, I couldn't even tell you for how long, because then it would say we decided, it wasn't working out, and we'd be better friends, and, he introduced me, I think, to some other guy who now is on LAPD, Randy Cordobas.
I don't think I know
He's a
him.
detective. He's got a twin brother who's on the fire department. That's how I met Randy, because he had a twin brother, identical twin on the fire department.
Okay.
And
wait, you and
I
Randy
dated him when I couldn't tell you. It was before he came on the job.
Before Randy came on the job?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that was, I'm trying to remember if Mike may have, I'm trying to remember. Mike may have dated a girl that he dated. Oh, God, it sounds too weird. Randy may have dated a gal that Mike was dating, and then Randy broke up with that gal. I couldn't even tell you the gal's name, if I'm even thinking of the story right. And then I started dating Randy.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, not like I was a huge floozy or anything, but
no, but
you know,
I mean, a lot of times, right? At least from my female partners that I've had, it's hard dating guys that aren't involved in kind of our circle, right? Because some guys are intimidated by women police officers.
Randy was like an engineer at the time. He was like some kind of an engineer
on a rig, on a fire truck.
No, an engineer.
A professional engineer.
Yeah, and then I think he lost a job and then came on the department.
I see.
So.
But getting back to some stuff, as far as you recall, after John's wife died, did you start a relationship again with John, or dating casually, or anything like that?
Like I said, he met Greg and I in Hawaii. Okay.
That was something you guys kind of planned together, like go as a group, or you ran into him, or?
No, I think that obviously I must have talked to him, and I said, hey, I'm going to Hawaii with my buddy Greg. We're scuba. We just got certified scuba diving. We're going to be in Hawaii. Hey, if you want to come and join us, come join us.
Right.
And I think that's what it was.
Okay.
I may have asked some other people to as well. What island did we go to? I think the Big Island in Kauai. He either met us on the Big Island or Kauai. I'm thinking of Greg and I might have scuba dived a lot on the Big Island, as well as Kauai. I don't remember which island. Again, I'd have to look at my pictures. I traveled a lot on my vacations. I mean, I was always gone for at least a month, and I would go places, and I would either run into people or meet people.
And Greg, this Greg we're talking about, he was like someone you were dating, or just a buddy? Or?
No, you know what? I would say we started out probably just buddies, and either I was with somebody or he was with somebody, but it was kind of like we ended up just kind of being like brother and sister, and maybe he wanted something more, but it never worked out, but we did things together. I would consider him, I've probably known him, let's see, I've been on the job almost 26 years. I've probably known Greg 23, 24 years.
So you still talk to him?
Oh yeah, he's dying of liver cancer right now. Yeah.
Cancer. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I consider him a good friend. I don't know what to tell you on that.
I mean, when you heard about John's wife being killed, I mean, what was your reaction? I mean, you thought you heard about it, through a friend or in a bulletin or
either
something?
a friend or a bulletin. I called the family. I called maybe some of his friends that I knew, and I mean, obviously it shocked you if I heard it at work, which I may have. I faintly remember a bulletin going around. Either that or somebody called me. I also don't remember.
Right.
And then I probably called his family. don't know initially. I can't say if I initially spoke to him or not. I honestly don't remember. I may have said to somebody, "Hey, have him call me if he wants to talk," and then he may have done that. You know.
Do you know what the circumstances were regarding her death?
Geez, let me think back. Geez, I don't know if it was, if it was a burglary or something. Yeah, I mean, it's been so many years. I mean, I can faintly think that I may have saw a flyer.
Yeah.
May have had her picture on it. That's why I say, if somebody had called me, I may not have known what her last name was. I may have. I mean, maybe if you told me, I would remember it.
Do you remember her first name?
Shelley, Sherry, I don't know, something maybe, like I said, it's been so many years, and
from all the years, as far as you can remember, do you remember ever talking to her? Just
well, I said earlier, I mean, I may have, I may have talked to her.
You mentioned a hospital, maybe. You may have talked to her at a hospital.
Yeah, I may have. I'm thinking back now. You guys are bringing up all these whole memories.
No, it kind of dusts off the cuff.
I mean, geez. I'm thinking that because I mean, we would date. He would date other people. I would date other people, and I think at one point, I mean, he may have been dating her, or I don't know, maybe he was married, I don't even remember. And I'm like, you know what, why are you calling me if you're either dating her or living with her or married to her? Because I honestly don't remember the time frame. And I'm like, oh, come on, knock it off. And now I'm thinking I may have gone to her and say, hey, you know what, is he dating you? He's bothering me. And so I'm thinking that we had a conversation about that. One or two maybe. It could have been three. I don't want to say I had 3 conversations with her.
Like at her work or at their house or.
No, I'm thinking that he obviously must have told me where she worked. I'm thinking it was a hospital somewhere in L.A. And I could have been. Again, what year was that? Where was I working? I'm trying to think of where. When did you say they got married?
I don't know. I think it was like in '85 or '86 or something like that. Yeah, we just kind of picked this up. We don't know a lot about it.
I mean, I could have been working in Hollywood. It sounds like if that's where I was working. So I could have said, okay, well, and I went and talked to her, and just said, hey, you know what, if he's dating you, he keeps calling me, why don't you tell him to knock it off or whatever, and because I probably would have told him to knock it off.
You would have told John.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would have said, hey, and again.
But you wanted to tell her too. You wanted them both to know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting her called, and I'm faintly remembering when Scott moved in with me in 1993, sometime in '93, because I met Scott in April of '92. I was teaching DARE up in Oregon, and he moved down. In fact, he may have moved down in '92, '92 or '93. There was the big earthquake. No, when was the big earthquake? No, '94.
'94, yeah.
So I think Scott might have moved in '93, sometime in '93. Excuse me. I haven't had my breakfast yet. And so, excuse me. And so I faintly recall that John may have called a few times, and I'm like, hey, I've got. He goes, oh, can you talk or something? I'm like, no, I can't talk. I've got, I'm living with somebody.
Right.
And that could have been a few times. It could have been once. Could have been twice. Could have been 3 times. Yeah, I don't know.
And that's during the period of time of the earthquake that you're.
Well, no, probably after Scott moved in. I think I met Scott in April of '92.
Oh, okay, right before.
April of 92, because I stopped teaching DARE. I think I stopped teaching DARE sometime in 92.
And when you say that you may have, that you talked to his wife, said, hey, or I don't know if it was, I guess it wasn't his wife at that time, girlfriend or whatever. And
yeah, I don't know if it was his wife or his girl. I mean, quite honestly, I don't even remember.
When you said, like, hey, he's calling me, he needs to knock it off, or what have you, I mean, was that civil? Was there, I mean,
no, there was not. I don't think there was anything. It was, if the conversation lasted a few minutes, I can't even remember. And what is it like, we went out to lunch or anything.
Right, but there was no, like, arguments or fights,
I don't think
it didn't get heated or anything like that?
Not that I recall, no. I mean, I would think that would stand out, I would think. Now again, that's not standing out in my mind.
So you didn't have any problems with her then?
No.
You didn't have any issues with her?
No, I mean...
But let me ask you, it seems like you didn't have any issue. Now, did she have an issue with you as far as... Because now you're telling her, hey, tell him to stop calling. Now, she's like, hey, you figure she'd be threatened by you.
I don't know. I mean...
From what you remember as far as when you talked to her, maybe you didn't take it as serious, but maybe, did she? Maybe she was bugged.
You mean, like, was she throwing things at me or something? Or,
well, no, just, as far as you're trying to explain, like, hey, have him stop calling me, stop playing games.
I tell you, if the conversation, I couldn't even tell you how long the conversation, if you said, did it last a half an hour? Did it last 3 minutes? Did it last 20 minutes? I can't even remember. It's been so long ago,
You just remember talking to her, telling her.
Yeah, and that's why you said, how many times you talked to her? I don't know how many times I talked to her. Maybe it was once, maybe it was twice, maybe it was 3 times. I honestly don't know.
Right.
I don't know what year it was. If he said, I met her in such and such year, I'd go, okay, well, I don't even know what year you met her. I graduated from UCLA in 1982, okay? I graduated in 82. Like I said, I don't know if he graduated, I know he was a little older than I was, so I don't know if he graduated a year before or 2 years before, because people are on different, either on the 4-year program or the 5-year program.
What year did you come on the job?
83.
Oh, so almost pretty much immediately after you got out of school?
Yeah, I worked at a law firm for a year, and then came on the job. But anyway, in regards to seeing him, not seeing him, we went to friends' weddings that were, from UCLA. I may have gone to some of his friends' weddings from where he worked. He may have gone to things with me. I mean, I don't know how many times we went to do things, or didn't do things.
Right.
Like I said, his sister. I know his sister. His brother, his sister, I know stayed at my townhouse a number of times. I couldn't tell you how many times.
Right.
I would watch his brother, I should take pictures at a basketball game or two.
Where was your townhouse at?
In Granada Hills, below the Odyssey.
I don't know the valley.
Oh, I'm sorry. The 405 and the 5. The 405. The 405 turns into the 5. The 118. They came down in the earthquake.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And you're saying when you went to see her, would you remember if it was at her house or at the place she worked at?
No, I'm thinking that it was probably, for some reason I want to say that the hospital seemed that, if you say he got married in 85 or something, I'm thinking that, maybe the hospital was on my way to work in Hollywood. I mean, that's kind of sounding familiar.
Would you have gone on duty?
Oh, no, I'm sure I wouldn't have. No, I'm pretty good about not doing stuff.
Oh.
I mean, no, I'm not saying that, you haven't done stuff on duty, but I would have, I would have been working with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
So I wouldn't think. I mean, I try to avoid doing stuff on duty.
Oh,
so.
Okay. So you would have gone, if it was en route to work, you more than likely would have gone to her work and had this discussion with her?
I mean, that's sounding familiar. I mean, that's, now that you guys are bringing this stuff up, I mean, that sounds familiar. But again, I mean, what's this got to do with me dating him and, you know, her getting killed? I mean, I don't, you know, I don't have anything to do with it. And you got something that's, somebody said, you know, whatever. I mean,
well, like we said, we just literally got this the other day, and you're going through it,
yeah,
and you see
and you saw me say,
your
oh,
name.
it's next door,
right, and so, you know, I mean, obviously it's like we recognize the name, and we know that, you know, you work
Yeah.
next door to us, and so we're trying to get some background. We're trying to figure this out. I mean, this is from a long time ago.
Oh, I know, and
you know,
that's what I said.
and things have been kind of slow for us, and so, you know, Chief Beck has said, hey, you know, I want you guys working. I don't want you just sitting around reading the paper.
Yeah.
So he's kind of pushing some older cases out, even to the guys that
Yeah.
work active cases, because, you know, and so we see this, and we're just like, oh,
Yeah.
well, you know, we want to talk to you about it, but of course, the only reason we did it here is because we're getting into some pretty personal stuff
No,
in
I
your
appreciate
relationship.
it. You know, my
And,
husband's on the job,
yeah,
and we've been
so we
married
don't, you know, we don't
a
want to take the
long
risk.
time,
We don't want
and-
to take the risk. We're in one of those interview
No,
rooms,
I
and even when the door
appreciate
closed,
it.
someone's going to get
No.
supplies and see us on a monitor, hears or whatever.
No,
and
I
we-
appreciate it. I mean, I
You know?
appreciate, like I said.
That's where people go when there's orals. You know, when they're doing orals,
Yeah.
guys will go in there and
Oh,
try and watch. And
I-
like, oh, what are the answers to the questions?
I
You know?
didn't know that.
Yeah. So we just want to afford
No,
you
I
the most
appreciate
privacy
it.
and confidentiality we could.
No, I appreciate it. And like I said, I mean, this goes way back, and I mean, it was very sad. You know, obviously, I haven't, you know, when we were in college, some of us would go down to his house in San Diego. I went down to his house with him, you know, with him. And I know I'm trying to think of some other people that may have gone down.
Is that
with
where he
us.
grew up? Is down there?
Yeah, down in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
I know his dad was a professor at San Diego State. I don't know if he still is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened to his sister. Don't know what happened to his brother. You know, I'm sure his dad's probably retired by now. He was, I think, older, even back then.
Right.
And I can't even tell you the last time I had any contact with any of them. It's been so long.
Did he tell you what happened? Like what he heard from the detectives or the police, or?
You know what? He may have. For some reason, I'm thinking that, I mean, again, this is like drugs or something. I mean, I think I faintly remember him mentioning something maybe about cocaine.
That she was involved with that?
You know, I don't know that he said she was involved or they thought she was. You know, again, it's been so long. You know, he could have told me the whole story of what happened. And, I mean, like I said, I'm faintly remember either between him or the flyer that there was some kind of a burglary. You know.
Let me ask you, did the detectives ever reach out to you?
No one's ever talked to me. I don't think anybody ever talked to me about him.
It seems like back then
you know,
would have been.
well, I'm thinking that I did talk to a detective. God. Well, what division was it?
In Van Nuys?
And where was I working?
1986?
I would have been working in Devonshire. You know, I'm thinking that I did speak to somebody.
Oh, really?
I couldn't tell you who it was.
Because it doesn't
He was
say
probably
anything.
on the phone.
Okay.
Would it have been somebody in regards to this, or just?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you said a name, if I would remember it, because I worked Van Nuys for a while.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I worked.
Detectives patrol?
No, I worked detectives. When did I go to Van Nuys? I worked Devonshire till '88. Then I went to Dare till '92. I worked twice at Van Nuys.
Both as a detective?
Yeah. Sometime in the '90s. Yeah, I know before I busted my leg up, I was there in '98, because that year sticks out because I had a really bad leg injury. And I was there prior to that, but I couldn't tell you what year. It was just a few years. I made detective, I think, in '93. So I was at Van Nuys, and then I went back, and then I had a leg injury, and then they transferred me to Devonshire because I couldn't drive. I couldn't drive very far with my bad leg injury. So, but yeah, I think I talked to somebody
Would you remember any of the conversation as far as what they were looking for? Or?
Couldn't say. I mean, they may have told me. I said, hey, you know, I went to school with him. Either somebody called me or I saw the I may have seen the flyer at that point, and I called up. If someone's name was on the flyer, I may have called to speak to them. I said, hey, if there's anything I can do, you know, call me. This is where I work. You know, I went to school with them.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't say. I couldn't tell you who it was.
But you do remember that someone you think reached out to you?
You mean a detective?
Yeah, called you up and talked to you.
Or I called them, one of the two. But yeah, I remember talking to somebody, but I'm thinking it was a man. I'm sure there's probably more men back then.
Yeah, probably
right.
more.
Yeah,
So again, that's really all I can remember about that.
Yeah. Let me get back to as far as when you said that John was calling you to see you, and during that time you felt that he was either seeing her, was he engaged or married? Did you know?
Couldn't say.
You don't remember?
I don't know.
Would he ever?
Well, let's see. My husband.
Did it ever appear?
Well, no, that would have been. Scott moved in '93, so that would have been. You said '86 or '85 or something.
Scott's your only husband? You've never been married?
No, never been married. I got married in I think '96. Well, no, I got married in '96, but he moved in '93.
Mm-hmm. But during that time that you were seeing John, was he acting kind of squirrely or kind of sneaking around when he'd hook up with you or anything like that, to make you think, hey, this guy?
He probably was. I mean,
because from the impression I get is you've known him a long time.
Well, let's see.
From what? Early
I met him in
80s?
'78. No, I met him in school. I started UCLA in '78.
So you know him well during that period of time.
Yeah, I mean, was he acting squirrely? I don't even remember where he was living then.
Well, after.
I don't.
Well, let me ask you. After he hooked up with.
I mean, if he was living on Roscoe or wherever else he was living.
Right.
Well, after he hooked up with Sherry, do you know where they were living?
No, you asked me that already.
Uh-huh.
And I said, well, obviously they were living in Van Nuys division.
Yeah.
I may have known.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did he ever give me the address? Maybe. I don't remember. I mean, I don't know.
Because the only reason I'm asking you again is because as we've been talking, I know some stuff has come to you because you're like, oh, it seems like you're shaking. So that's why I'm asking if you've ever been to the house.
And when you said Van Nuys division, I'm sure he could have told me. I mean, he could have told me. He could have told me where he lived.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever have gone there?
I don't think I've ever gone there. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to say, no, I've never gone there, and then you say, oh, I was at a party. Because I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've got these friends. We have parties. My house, their house. I just don't think John ever came to. Again, at one point, because we knew people from school together. I knew different people. He knew different people. I knew people that he knew from his work. That lived in the valley.
So as far as for social events or anything,
me.
I mean,
no problem.
You're not sure if you ever been to the house because.
But it's safe to say that would have been the only time, like for something social.
Yeah, if I went there for something social, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
because I know you went to talk to her at the hospital regarding this issue with John, to kind of like, hey, what's going to happen here with this thing? But would this ever have followed up to her house when you went to talk to her to say, hey, you know what?
I don't even know that I knew where they lived. That's what I'm saying. I don't. If I knew where they lived and I'd been there, if it was for something social, I would. And I can't see how many times I saw her face to face. He lived on Roscoe. Did I ever see her there? I don't know. I mean, I may have seen her at his apartment on Roscoe.
Mm-hmm.
I may have met her there. You know, I mean...
But you didn't have any issues with her, right?
No, I mean, you know, obviously, if he was dating me and dating her, I probably said, hey, pick or something, you know.
Fair.
You know, back
That's
then.
fair.
I can't say that we ever screamed or, you know, it's... I mean, he was a pretty mellow guy, you know. I think I was pretty mellow. I don't think we had some big, huge blow up to say, you know, why we stopped dating, or, you know. And I even think that when I was dating him, I was probably, like I said, I was probably going out with other guys, and he was probably going out with other girls.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
I mean, would you remember if she snapped on you and just like, hey man, it's my man, you know, you get it, leave him alone, you know, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff?
You know.
You know, would you remember an incident like that? I mean, because that would be like, what?
Well, you know, and maybe that happened. I mean, gosh, you know, it's been so long ago. I mean, that's not ringing a bell.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because the times I've seen you around at our office,
I'm crazy.
You know, but you're always
You know.
kind of like real. I mean, you seem kind of bubbly.
Oh, you know, people think I'm really hyper. But I can get upset, you know, and then I forget 5 seconds later, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know how guys razz you and you go, you know. I mean, I've done that in the office, you know, but it's like, and then I'm, you know,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, people
Water
think,
under the bridge.
yeah, I mean, it's like people think I'm crazy, and then they think I'm crazy at home, and I'm, you know, I'm a hyper person at work. I'm, you know, I enjoy my job. I get excited. You know, I enjoy the job. I've always enjoyed the job.
Well, you got a good gig, so.
You know, so, you know, you know, I don't know. It's like I said, this stuff's been so long ago. You know, I'm sure as soon as I walk out of here, I'll go, oh shoot, I did 25 things I'll remember. You know.
But you'll call us, or I mean, you'll just come over to our desk and
yeah,
tell
I mean,
us.
I don't know what else you need to know. Like I said, you know, we knew friends together. A lot of the friends that, you know, that we socialized in the dorms, I would say, I mean, there was a group of us that we were all really close. I mean, even this one guy I was thinking of, you know, Diana Basta. We were all really close. I haven't talked to her in a million years.
Diana Basta being a friend of you and John's, or?
Yeah, we all lived on the dorms together. I don't know if she lived on the same. I'm trying to think. I know John lived on our floor because his roommate was Dave Newman. Dave Newman now is a huge, big shot, whatever, movie producer, director, something. I don't know.
And that was John's roommate?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
then the guys that lived across from me, Jim Jaskell and Roy Sakaboo, something like that. They lived across from me. Diana Basta, I don't know if she lived on our floor. Maybe she was the RA. Diane Sherman, because I still remain friends with Diane Sherman. Not that I'm not friends with the other people, I just don't see them. A gal named Smita, Sally, Kathleen, you know, so we were all on the floor. I mean, some of them were athletes, some of them weren't. You know, I said John played basketball, his brother played basketball, I played basketball at UCLA for 2 years. One of the girls swam on the team, one was on the crew team, so we all did stuff together. And then I'd say after we all graduated, we went to weddings. You know, I went to weddings.
But Sherry wasn't part of this circle.
No, I don't even know how he met her. I don't even know where. I mean, I don't know where he met her
So
from.
she
I
came
don't
out
even
from
know.
somewhere.
He told me where he met her from. I mean, he may have told me. You know, that's not ringing a bell. And there was lots. I mean, you know, there was other people that knew other people. You know, that were friends of everybody's. You know. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
Well, one of the concerns I had is looking at some of the notes is some of Sherry's friends said that you and her were having a problem because of the John situation.
Well, number one, I don't know who her friends are, because again, I don't recall if he did tell me where he met her. I don't know even who these friends are. A problem. Like I said, if I spoke to her, I mean, I'll go on as far as a limb, and I don't even want to say I spoke to her 5 times, because that's probably not even true. I can't even remember. Again, did I meet him at her place when he lived on Roscoe for, I think, quite a while, but I couldn't tell you how long he lived on Roscoe. And the only reason I remember the place now is because it's like a huge dope place now, where they, it may have been back then, but maybe we didn't know back then. I could have met her there. I could have, I don't even know that I met any of their friends. I can't say that. I don't know that that's a true statement.
Well, that's what I'm reading, is that you guys had problems with each other and words were being exchanged, and it's all relating to John.
You know what? I can't say.
You can't say?
No, that doesn't even ring a bell.
So, I mean, it seemed like, you would recall something if somebody's going off on you, right?
I would think. I would think.
Yeah, because it's...
But that's,
Because it seems like your relationship with John was kind of... I mean, you've known each other for a lot of years.
Yeah, it was just kind of... It was like...
But it doesn't seem to me, from what you're telling me...
I mean, we were never engaged. I mean,
Right.
it wasn't like we were planning to get married. It was like... It was... I don't know how to describe it. I mean...
Would you say there wasn't a lot of drama in this relationship?
Oh, no, I don't think there was drama.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I mean...
That's why I'm asking, as far as what the friends are saying in regards to this, the problems that they're saying you were having with Sherry. I mean, it seems like the relationship is just going on an even plane.
That just... I don't have the recollection of that at all.
No?
No.
And, because from what you're telling me is when you guys met at the hospital, I mean, you guys talked, but it wasn't, from what you recall, confrontational?
I don't think so.
From either side?
No, I mean, I'm trying to, turn my memory back, and I'm trying. I can't even picture the, the conversation. I mean, I can't even picture the conversation.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, at the hospital, it never got to the point where people were going, hey, everybody go to your own corner type of thing?
I don't think so.
Nothing like that?
I don't think so. I mean, I really don't. I mean, if you say people said that, that's not ringing a bell to me at all. I mean, it's not. I mean, that's not ringing a bell to me at all.
Was there ever a time when you and Sherry were talking and John had to maybe go like, hey, you guys relax, or anything like that?
I think so.
About, ever going to her house and having a dispute like that?
I'm just... If I met her ever at his apartment... maybe. I mean, maybe we could have met I could have met at her apartment. I'm thinking that the hospital thing, that sounds familiar, that I met her there. I just can't say that I've ever... Again, was I there with other people? I don't know. I don't think I ever met her there or him there, meaning one or the other. I don't think so. I can't. I don't think so.
Because I know the way my wife is. At our house, she wouldn't want my own girlfriends there, So I don't know if maybe she had the same mentality towards you, as far as you ever being there, or being welcome there, because it's... You know what?
If somebody said I was there when they were there, then that's possible. Mm-hmm. But I don't recall. I mean, I don't think so. It's not sounding familiar.
Yeah, because I guess basically what I'm asking is, were you ever welcome to the house? Like, hey...
Oh, come over?
Yeah, come on over. We're having a barbecue, a dinner party, Christmas party, whatever.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Like I said, because there were so many of us that... The two Dianes, Jim Jaskell, Roy, Smita, this gal Smita, another friend of ours, Beth, she it seems like everybody I know is passing away. She passed away. She was a child diabetic and got very ill. We would all socialize. Like I said, I don't think John ever... It's hard. I don't want to say he never socialized with us. It's been... I'd have to almost go back and look at pictures, because I take pictures. I mean, I usually, when I go to functions, I have 10,000 pictures, okay? I'm a picture nut.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask, when you were seeing John, would you, I take it he would pick you up in his car, you go in her, your car, things of that nature, when you guys would go out?
Well, yeah, I mean...
Do you remember what he drove?
Well, I know at one time he drove either a 240 or 260Z.
Any other cars that stand out in your mind?
I don't know how long he drove that 240 or 260Z for. And the only reason I say that is because I think I may have a picture of it with him in it.
What kind of car did you have back then?
Let's see. What year?
Or are you like one of those young cops that like, oh, I got a paycheck and bought a new car?
Oh, no. I've only had like a few cars in my whole life.
So what'd you have when you came on the job?
Okay, well, my first car was a 68 Chevelle. 68 Chevelle. And then I had a Toyota, some kind of a Toyota hatchback, but I forget what the name of it was.
Like a Corolla or Tercel or something like that.
Tercel.
Yeah.
And then I had my truck.
Did you ever have any problems with your cars?
Like what?
Just anything in general, car wrecks, anything stolen.
Yeah. No, my car's never been stolen. Oh, no, crashed, hit and run. I mean, my Tercel was hit and run. Again, I got pictures of the hit and runs. Yeah, I don't think any of my cars had ever been stolen. No. My cars haven't been stolen. Broken into.
None of that, huh?
Oh yeah, my cars have been broken into. You know, but no cars have ever been stolen.
How long? Well, tell me about this car getting broken into.
Well, my car has been broken into several times.
Oh, really? Did you ever lose anything, or?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, let's see. I had a gun that was stolen. I had other stuff that was stolen.
Not your duty gun, was it?
No.
Oh, that's good. Was it ever recovered?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. Not that I know of.
Never been notified?
No. The car's been broken into, yeah, several times.
Where did that happen when your gun was taken?
Trying to remember. I'm sure you guys must know. Because my car was broken into in Ventura. I think in Santa Monica. I have relatives that live in Santa Monica and Venice.
Who lives there?
My uncle. Well, I had several uncles. Yeah, could have been Santa Monica, Venice. My car's been broken into in Ventura before. So.
Is your mom still around, or? Yeah. Your dad?
Yeah, but I don't really have much of a relationship with my dad. So I couldn't tell you where he lives if you want to know.
Oh, really?
No. Yeah, couldn't tell you.
Well, like I said, as we were looking at the case, and we had read the notes as far as from Sherry's friend saying you guys had problems or words, and they got heated. And the reason we're asking you is they had mentioned that an incident at her work had occurred, and they've also told us that an incident at her house occurred.
You know what?
And this is at her house during the period of time that they're married.
That's just not sounding familiar at all. I mean, you know what? That's just not again, if someone says that I was at her house and I had an incident with her, you know, that just doesn't sound. You know, was John there? Did John say this happened? Because, and other people were there. I don't recall. I mean, it just doesn't sound, you know, familiar.
And this is an incident where you showed up. You weren't supposed to show up, and things got heated.
At his house?
Yeah.
You know, that just doesn't sound familiar. I mean,
Nothing.
no. You know, it's not sounding familiar.
So
not at all.
Now you're saying not familiar because it's just something you remember, or it's just.
You know what? I'd have to say I don't remember, because I don't remember. That doesn't sound familiar. I
mean, would you remember something like that in your life? If
well, I would think, but
sort of drama involving, you know, the other woman type of thing.
Did you ever fight with her?
You mean like we fought?
Yeah. Did you ever duke it out with her?
No, I don't think so. I mean.
You'd remember that, right? That would be pretty.
Yeah, I would think so. I
pretty
mean,
specific.
Yeah, like I said, I mean,
traumatic.
obviously, you know, I mean, it just doesn't sound familiar. I mean, what are they saying? So I fought with her. So now, I mean, I'm getting the jump, the leap. Excuse me, I haven't eaten. They're saying, okay, I fought with her, so I must have killed her. I mean, come on. I mean, that's, you know, I don't even know who these people are. I can't even say I met any of these people. I mean, it's insane. If it happened, I honestly don't remember it. That's all I can tell you. I mean,
but I don't know. I mean, would it be something you would remember? I mean, because I don't know if any other intense incidents in your life that have occurred. I mean, you'd recall those, right? I mean,
well,
like a use of force at work or a car crash, something you're involved in. You'd be like, yeah, I remember.
You would think I would remember. I mean, I would think if it was something that crazy. I mean, I can't say. You say, how many fights have you gotten into? You know, in your life. You know, I mean, a few at work.
Well, fights at work are kind of different because we've all had uses of force or whatever. But
well,
I mean,
I haven't even had even a lot of those. I mean,
right, but
you know,
if you're actually, you know,
I mean, I played
like if Dan and I got mad at each other and we threw blows in the squad room. I mean, 20 years later, I would remember it. I mean,
I would think I would remember it, but
unique.
that's what I'm saying. That's not sounding familiar to me at all. I mean,
let me ask you. I mean, throughout your life, you know, would you remember the number of fights you've been involved in? And I don't mean kind of like a bump or something, just a physical fight where everybody's hitting each other, scratching, pulling, you know, whatever.
Maybe. I mean, I can't say I've been in a lot. You know, I played sports.
Yeah.
You know, you get into scuffles there, and
and you recall some of those, right? I mean, just.
Yeah, I can recall some of them.
Games get intense.
But like I said, you saying this is just not ringing a bell.
Nothing.
I mean, but you know, I don't know what to tell you. It's just that's just not ringing a bell to me.
It'd be something.
I would think I would remember.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you're in this,
I would think so too.
If you're in this other girl's house and words are exchanged, I mean, you'd figure you'd recall.
I would think.
Especially if it got physical, right?
Well, I would think.
And it's relating to, you know, a guy that you were dating, but she's dating now, you know, and it's just kind of like a whole love triangle type of thing. I mean, you figure you'd remember that, right?
Well, I would think.
So.
I mean, I don't know what to still tell you.
Yeah. No, because I'm looking at the notes, and these people are kind of, I mean, they're pointing the finger at you.
Well,
and
I mean, that's not ringing a bell to me, so, you know, I don't know, you know, it's, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that just sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, so you, offhand, you don't recall ever going into her house and having words and physically, you know,
no,
attacking her attacking you?
No.
Nothing like that?
No, I mean, that's, no.
Nothing?
No. No. Not at all.
Okay. Well, on some of the, on this case, you know, it occurred in '86, right? Detectives processed the scene, things of that nature. They did fingerprints and all that stuff. You know, well, you know the standard stuff. I mean, you've been doing this longer than I have.
Well, not about that. I got 26 years on, going on 26.
19, so. But, you you know, as they processed everything, they did the best they could at that time, and they looked at a lot of people and different things in this case. And you're right.
I mean, if you guys are claiming that I'm a suspect, then, you know, I got a problem with, you know, with that.
Okay.
Okay? So, you know, if you're doing this as an interrogation, you're saying, hey, I'm a suspect. Well, now I got a problem with, you know, now you're accusing me of this? Is that what you're saying? We're
trying to figure out what happened, Stephanie.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, do I need to get a lawyer if you're accusing me of this? You know,
you don't have to. I mean, you know,
you're
here of your own free will. I mean,
no, I know, but
I mean, you're not under arrest. You can walk out.
You can leave whenever you like.
Well, but you know, I'm trying to give you some background of, you know, how I knew him, and now you're telling me that somebody's saying that we had this big old fight, and I don't even know what you're talking about. You know, and I don't want to, you know, get in trouble for something that I didn't even do, or you're saying I did something.
Okay.
Yeah, we understand.
I mean, how would you guys like it if the tables were turned on you?
I understand. No.
No, that's what we're telling you. I mean, you're free to go whenever you want. If this makes you uncomfortable and you want to,
well, now you're starting to make me uncomfortable.
The thing is, I mean, detectives did what they could at that time on the crime scene. Okay, and the burglary thing you're talking about, that is an angle that they looked at. I go, but now we're looking at everything else on the case, because nobody was ever arrested on the case.
I don't know that or not.
Okay. Now, what we'd like to do is, obviously you know about all the DNA stuff and things of the nature that, you know, gets done on cases nowadays. You know, if we asked you for a DNA swab, would you be willing to give us one?
Maybe. Because now
because
now I'm thinking I probably need to talk to a lawyer.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
because I know how this stuff works. Okay, don't get me wrong. You're right. I have been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
And I wish I had been recording this because now it sounds like, you know, there's, you know, you're selling these people saying I'm fighting with her, and now it sounds like you're trying to, you know, I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah,
we know.
Okay, and now it almost sounds like you're trying to pin something on me.
No,
now I got that sense.
Well, what it gets to on these cases, and you know it as well as I do, our job is to identify and eliminate suspects.
I can't believe this.
So if we ask you to the point to give us a DNA sample, a buccal swab, so we can identify or eliminate you, would you be willing to do that?
Maybe. Because I know this.
Well, that's where we're at too. I mean, because right now, from looking at the evidence, it's, you know, it's possible we may have some DNA at the location.
That's great.
And we're going to do what we can to try to put this thing together. And your name's in the book. These people are pointing at you for whatever reason.
I don't know why. That's just crazy. I mean, that's absolutely crazy.
And it would be irresponsible on our part not to look at it.
I know. You guys have to do your job, and I guess I'm going to have to contact somebody. So.
That's fair.
I mean, because I know how this stuff works. I
sure.
mean, I just can't believe it.
I mean, we understand that. I mean, if we were in your position, I mean, we would feel the same way.
I just can't even believe it. I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm shocked. I'm really shocked that somebody would be saying that I did this. I mean, we had a fight, and so I went and killed her. I mean, come on.
Well,
that's...
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks for giving me the courtesy. I wish I recorded it.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Stephanie, take care.
All right.
This is absolutely crazy.
Have a seat, Stephanie.
This is insane.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. Stephanie, you know you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes.
Anything you say may be used against you in court. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have the right to the presence of an attorney before and during any questioning. Do you understand?
Yes.
If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you free of charge before any questioning if you want. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you want to talk to us right now?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
This
then.
is crazy.
Okay.
This is I'm like in shock. I'm totally in shock.